lower than the recommended. We recommend that you. Never mind.
It should be fine.
We have one current viewer.
Should we put chat over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you start streaming on OBS?
Yeah. It's showing us right here.
Oh, okay.
You're holding your coffee or your.
Gotcha. Now we have 2 viewers.
Stream URL.
Successfully copied.
Oh wait, can we see the stream here? Okay, we can see it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But did you want to go to Discord and?
Oh yeah. Actually, since you have the link, why don't you do it?
Well, that's why I thought That's why I thought you opened up the new tab. Was to go to Discord.
Oh no, I guess no, I didn't.
Even though I have the Discord app, I always use
True.
this one. What do you want to do? Announcements?
Yeah, announcements. Yeah.
This is the first time I've done at everyone since Everyone Gate.
Oh, yeah, everyone.
I just realized we're live and I just burped.
Mm-hmm. That was wonderful.
Sorry.
We are live streaming the January competition.
Yep.
Competition submissions. Submission reviews.
So yeah, if I can spell.
That's okay if you can. You just have to make good noise.
Yes.
Oh, that didn't go through. That link.
Stream your
Should be working. Or try pasting it in. Paste it first in a tab.
Oh.
Yeah, and then copy that because it's going to be its own. No, what? Why is it doing that? Okay. I don't know why it would give us that. Yo, what's up? I believe that's Gerald. Sorry, can I use your real name? Farthest Empire Sound. I don't mean to dox you. What would we do?
Here, I know what we can do.
You can just go to YouTube.
Yeah.
It's probably better. And then
I'm just gonna go to mine because that'll be.
It's right there. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yo, what's up? Pause it, so we don't break the stream. Well, that didn't work.
Nope.
You gotta copy it again.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Farthest Empire. You're from Hawaii, was it? Right? I just remembered because of the aloha.
Hello, nurse. I am going to apologize in advance because I'm going to be doing a lot of coughing as I am getting over a cold. So
don't worry, I will be doing the same. We have some delicious hot chocolate that Brian's wife made for us,
and it's not a mod. Let's see who here is old enough to get that joke.
What's it called? Yeah, but it is delicious because it is freezing in Florida right now.
And by freezing, it's 60.
Maybe.
Yes.
Probably 70, but
check in on your Florida friends. We are not okay right now.
Yeah. It's true.
Farthest Empire says, "Yep."
Yeah.
I think I'm like constantly getting out of the camera. I don't know if.
Oh, check OBS, and you'll know for sure. Just slowly move out of the way.
And we're trying not to create like the Hobbit wizard effect with forced perspective.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Alright, what do I want this one. All right, we're up to 7 viewers. Sound off. Who is?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who is?
Who are the 7 people that are watching? I didn't know that.
8 people.
Oh my goodness, this is insane.
7.
They heard us and they were just like, nope.
9. Yes.
What's up, Pro Marco?
Polo.
You're fired. Yeah, I haven't fired Brian nearly enough.
No, you've been kind of slacking. Maybe we should fire you.
Yeah, maybe. What's up, Diamond? Welcome.
Hey, Diamond.
So he let us know in the chat if you submitted to the competition and if you're here, because I mean we're probably just gonna go in order. Yeah, we won't do anything too crazy with the order or whatever. Maybe if someone requests and they're going to bed soon because they're over in Europe or anything, we'll do yours first. But just let us know in the chat if you guys are looking for that. So yeah, we can probably get started. Yeah.
We're
302.
We're 302. Yeah, we should probably go ahead and get started.
Cool. How's the mix? Let us know how the mix is for you guys as well. We can adjust accordingly.
Let me pull a little bit more so that I don't sound far away.
Sure.
Do I sound like I'm on old timer radio?
Yeah, sure do.
I wish I could make that screen bigger. I'm like,
Yeah.
staring at it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Things that I should have thought through.
Do you want me to? Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I can drive.
So why don't we go to latest and go from there, because otherwise it'll show. So then we can get all the recent ones. Very good. Okay, we got an entry 14 hours ago from
Johnny Jare.
Johnny Jare. Very cool.
Let's check out Johnny Jare.
Yeah. Let's just. I mean, we're just gonna jump right into it.
Okay.
If you guys are just joining us, we are doing the competition live stream review session, and we're just gonna get started.
Make it louder, actually. So the knob all the way on the right.
This guy here.
Yeah. A little bit more. Yeah, let's see how it is.
Maybe a little bit down.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that sounded pretty good. That was
Playing it
for yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like a sampling,
Yes.
artifacting going on there, and that was probably because whoever it was, or whatever effects they used probably didn't make great use of like crossfading with like pitch shifters and all that. But I would say that like ultimately, good sound. I think that like in terms of like timing and syncing the sound and the animation and all that, I think it sounded pretty good. The only thing that I would probably try and do is just try and break down your sound into smaller sounds so that you can get smaller layers and such over, or just focus on like in tinier sounds inside the greater scheme of the sound.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the Rise Realm Warp, you can see in the video below by Jack Thompson, there's like little runes that light up. There's so much going on, and just rewatching the video and over again will really teach you a lot about like the micro sounds that you can create while you're working on something like this.
Right. And as I've preached over and over and over again, setting up flags or setting up markers. That's one of the first things that I do.
Yeah.
I'll just watch the video on repeat.
Yeah.
And put in markers.
Because it's really hard to find like a starting point, but when you put in those markers, they really give you you're just creating a limitation for yourself, or like a bound within to work with.
Right.
Yeah. So that's always really nice.
Helps you to remember what sounds you still need.
Right. And yeah, so my equivalent to using the markers is basically just using white noise and then just shaping the sound with fades and fade outs and all that stuff, and then I use an EQ to get the general frequency balance that I want, and then I'll just fill it in with sounds afterwards. So do you have any notes on Johnny for us?
I like the overall idea of it. Mm-hmm. I think there's a little bit too much bass.
I agree. Yeah.
In some of the spots, but I would rather there be too much low end than not enough.
Yeah, I think that just like using a little bit more layering probably would help that a good bit. I would say. Yeah,
I would agree. A little bit more layering, but then also going back to the idea, like, this is a fast-paced game. It's everything is frenetic, and so you wanna capture that with the way things sound.
That's true.
You know, this idea of like, how do you tell a story through sound?
Yeah. No, that's true. That's very true.
That's probably going to be my biggest critique on probably a lot of these is that and you. In case you're wondering, like, well, how do you make something sound fast? Well, it's kind of the same principle in music. Like, if you're using a lot of staccato notes, you can make something feel fast versus if you use a lot of legato notes.
Right. Very true.
So, I mean, if you think about, like, creating a mood or a tension in music, if you have, like, a bunch of staccato, like, da 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 da, that feels like more movement than something that's going da 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 da. So having more sharper attacks, like heavier transients, and creating a lot of separation between those transients can give the feeling of something moving quickly versus something that just has soft legato sounds. There's no definite transients.
And having those definite transients help tell that story, and it gives you. It gives you just key points in the story, I would say. While the more legato stuff, like you said, are a lot more just transitionary in sound design, I'd say, for a lot of it. Yeah. For most of it, anyways. But that was a really cool sound, Johnny. Thank you so much for submitting, and we hope to see you next month.
Yes.
Should we we could like show them what the sound is for next month. Should we? Would that be wrong?
No, because that's going to be the video coming out next week.
That's right. I guess it's better to leave it till then. Yeah,
because then you're stealing my thunder, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Stealing my thunder. All right, we got Jack Thompson. Let's.
Ooh, Jack has won the competition before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was really cool.
That was neat.
First off, the layers in this are really, really cool.
Yes.
Like the way that, because for those that don't know, Brian gave the contestants some of the worst source recordings I've ever heard.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very bad.
Yes.
There was just a series of door squeaks and then a couple of like piano and guitar notes in there. It was awful. It was really bad. And the fact that Jack, you were able to make a sound that sounds nothing like door squeaks is very impressive. And did you record those with an iPhone mic or an Android mic?
Yeah. So the the one vial of just random squeaks that are all the high pitch that was sitting in my doctor's office, in the room waiting for him to come in, and I found the stirrups on the exam table, and when I would turn them, they make that squeaky sound. So I just pulled out my phone because I only had that on me at the time, and I recorded those squeaks.
Okay.
And then when I was at rehearsal one night for the church worship team, I sat down on the drum throne and I turned to check something out, and I went, and I'm like, God. This is amazing.
That's one of the worst ones. I was showing off my sound to some students, and they were I would always come across that sound, and I'd just be like, I'm sorry. I haven't fired him enough.
So I did have my Zoom for that one. So gotcha. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
so at least it sounds good.
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Jack, I would say that I don't really have much feedback. I think the only thing that I don't like about the sound as much is probably the reverb that you chose. Whoops. Sorry about that. I thought space would work.
No.
And you can hear that Jack actually did a really great job of like creating like individual fades for like at that initial transient. He did a really awesome job of just like, I guess, just creating like a micro buildups throughout the entire sound. And I'm curious to. I love it when people that can take part in these competitions give us breakdowns. I think we'll come across one in a little bit here. I know that Yuso Talonen, who won the competition a few months ago, did his own breakdown for this sound, and it was very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I made this competition as hard as it possibly could be.
I think we got the most submissions ever this month, though. Yeah, I think we got I think we got 30. So that's the most we've had. So yeah,
I should have looked.
Yeah.
I didn't do my due diligence ahead of time.
No, that's all good.
No, I like it. I think my critique would be kind of same as you. I think the reverb gets a little muddy.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little mid-rangey.
Yeah.
I think some of that kind of 1K area could be. Yeah. It's in the higher mid-range because there were some frequencies that were just kind of stabbing at me too much. Yeah. Probably in that like 1 to 5K range.
So what would you just add like more like white noise to balance it out, or would you
probably boost low end a little bit more, cut out a little bit of that high mid-range, and then either if you're putting reverb directly on it, either turning down the mix knob, or if you're doing side chaining with reverb, turning that side chain channel down.
Right.
Or using a shorter reverb tail, because that's probably my biggest critique. Is it just gets a little muddy, and some of those, like the rune sounds, actually they're there, but they get a little buried.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Like
it does have like the type of like low end that the sound does have, though. It definitely has like a very unique sort of low end to it that like probably hits around like the 500 hertz range. It kind of has like that that same like punchy frequency that it's hitting. So I do like it, but I can agree with you. I think it could just be like more balanced across the whole frequency spectrum a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or redistributed rather.
Right, but beyond that, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, it's like, really good sound. We're nitpicking at this point.
Yeah, like I'm just like, I'm old man on lawn. Yeah. Like, get off my, like the fact that you took squeaks and made them analog. The fact that you kids and your computers these days.
Digital's gonna die.
Back in my day, you could only make a record if you were rich. Yeah.
That's so funny.
No, it's great overall, and the fact that the squeaks don't sound like squeaks. Like,
yeah, and I think that's like I think that's what we're gonna find in a lot of these sounds. That the best sounds are gonna be the ones that figured out how to not make them sound like the door squeak sounds.
So I apologize to everyone who hates me.
Yeah.
I hate me too.
Yeah, I hate you too. It's fine.
Everyone does.
Yeah. Anywho, moving on to Celts. Thank you for joining the competition. Yeah. Okay. So the syncing in this the sound to animation sync is really, really solid.
Yeah.
The big thing that I'm picking out though that could be fixed in the sound is probably just cleaning up. I think that Celty did a good job of like we just said, making sure that the door squeaks don't sound like door squeaks.
Right.
But I feel like the recordings could just be like a little bit cleaner, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's tight. I think the low mids are a little heavy. Mm-hmm. That opening, I like the fade. I think the fade was an interesting choice. Because it sounds cool, but I think it's betraying the quickness of this sound.
Yeah, that's fair.
Again, like, and I will agree that this is very much a personal taste for me. Like, this is the developers or whoever else might have a completely different taste on, or completely different opinion on what Rise's warp sound should be like. You know, they might, to me, because of League of Legends and because of like how it's supposed to be designed around dynamic and quick gameplay, I would want my sounds to reflect that.
Right.
Maybe the developers want Rise to be more laid back, and so that his warp sound doesn't sound as fast.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, maybe they want it to sound like it's warping in like a slow warp, like a whoa.
And it's really exciting to see all the entries and be able to say like.
So I just want to say, if I'm critiquing something and I'm saying it doesn't sound fast enough, I'm not saying that as a negative to.
Yeah. It's more. We're just gonna see so much variety in all these sounds, and
it's just personal taste at that point.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
That's really all that it is. It's akin to someone saying like, I don't like this song. It has nothing to do with the quality of the song. It's just personal taste.
Sure. Agreed
So,
for sure.
But yeah, to that end, actually, I want to listen to it again.
Yeah, I think one thing as well is like I think the final like teleportation should be a lot stronger because it definitely feels like it doesn't have enough high end on that final. The bass is great on like, I mean, it's like you said, there's a lot of low end in the sound. But I think that if there was just more high end or more the higher frequencies were more balanced to the lower frequencies, then maybe we wouldn't feel that way about the low mid range. So, but anyways, I think that in terms of like the story that's being told, I think it's pretty good. I think that just some like frequency dynamics and things here and there could definitely improve it.
Let's check out Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. Thank you for
Kevin.
hashtag squeaky bum time. Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice. I like that a lot. I want to listen to it again.
Yeah. That frequency range is nice. That's really cool.
I definitely, I will say this. I like how that fade in makes it feel fast because it's a very fast fade in.
True. And actually you can hear like in that sound too, like it kind of sounds like there's almost like particles like being pulled into the teleportation of the sound. And I think that was really well executed, and it kind of adds to that speed that you were talking about earlier.
I say really good frequency. I think
balanced, very well balanced.
The
mix.
I think it feels really good,
and it doesn't sound like door squeaks.
No,
it's amazing.
No, I like that somehow he got white noise in there. So that's really, really good.
There's definitely a lot of processing on like a lot of these sounds for sure.
Yes. Having made this sound,
yes, for sure.
He can't not use it.
I don't really have much feedback for Kevin actually. Can we play it again actually?
Yeah.
I think the one thing I would say is that I just really like to hear that big final teleport sound. It does. I think that what Kevin did though is intentional though. Like I think that I by the quality of the sound and the way that it's mixed and all of that, and the fact that you can hear those impacts and such, I can tell that Kevin decided to do that as a deliberate choice. It wasn't like he didn't have the right source recordings or anything. So like in that sense,
Kevin, you had everything we had. No excuses.
No excuses. But I think the sound is really good. And I think that the choice is a fine choice to make. I just prefer to hear like the full story, have like a big bang at the end, I guess. So
no, I agree. And then again, it also kind of comes down to like, what do you? I'm gonna try not to rabbit trail too much.
Sure.
But when you talk about warping somewhere, like I always imagine that as a very intense event. You are ripping open time and space to travel somewhere. I feel like that should be a very, very impactful, intense moment.
Agreed.
But again, everyone's going to have a different opinion on that, and that opinion is going to show through in their sound.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, I mean, it's really hard, especially, I think that it's kind of different seeing it too, like just the video that we see, because when it's just a video on its own, people can just judge the sound on its own. But when it's in the game, maybe that final teleport's the most important part of the sound, or maybe the fact that he's disappearing is more important. It's kind of hard to say, like, because I actually don't even know what exactly he's doing in this. I don't know if he's attacking or if he's just escaping.
It's just a warp. Okay. And I know in game you can warp multiple players.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a.
So the significance would be in the actual like initial teleport.
Yes.
Then. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, because as far as I know, the warp doesn't cause any damage to any other players.
Sure.
It's just a either like a get out of dodge, or if you want to move like you and 3 players into a different area of the map and and bypass some things.
Sure.
That's really the intention of it. And I know Rise has changed. His character has changed over the different variations, but I know he's always been a magic user.
Sure. Geralvi says, I'd like to get started learning about this, but the only mics I have are my Android phone mic. What does that say?
Woo, represent.
Yeah.
PC headset mic. Would that be enough to get started? Absolutely.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, Brian took these. This competition is such a good, such a good way for us to just to learn. And like, if you want to get started doing sound design, definitely take part in next month's competition, which will be announced next Friday. Because Brian provides the source recordings for us, and he makes, and then you guys get to make a sound and grow together as a community. So if you're gonna get started, definitely join the free course that we have on blipsounds.com just to start learning sound design, or join the competition. You were going to show off something?
Yeah. So this is an app I know some people have talked about in Discord. Mm-hmm. It's called Easy Voice Recording, and it's available on Android. Not a sponsor. I have no idea if you can actually see that because we're on a lag. So, like I said, not a sponsor, but it allows you, I think, so there's a free version, which you have very limited options. There's a paid version, but I think it's like $3 on the App Store. And so you can have your settings so that you're recording something as a wave completely unprocessed.
Yeah.
So rather than bouncing it to a processed MP3, which then introduces a lot of artifacts, and you can sometimes get a lot more distortion that way.
Sure.
And depending on your Android phone, if your Android phone has stereo speaker ability, I know some of the more higher end ones do.
Yeah.
You can get stereo.
I think that like when you record with something like it won't be as good as like the microphones we're recording our voice with. There's no way, but I always say that you should start with the minimum until you feel like it limits you.
Right.
And then once it starts to limit you, then you should start considering purchasing a microphone.
Diamond S says you can also see if your music store rents out equipment. Yeah, some music stores do rent out equipment, and you can always use those. But part of it is if it's not your equipment and you're not familiar with using it, sometimes that's more of a burden than just not having it, because now you're spending all this time just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, and with and like I mean I've been using the same 6. I've been using the same microphone for the last 7 years.
Yeah. With
the Zoom H6, and like that was like $300 or $400, and that's like $50, almost $50 per year for the last. Like it's a worthy investment at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
even the Zoom H1N.
Yeah. Oh, and that's like
it's $100.
Yeah.
And brand new, or you can get them. I think I got mine refurbished. Mm-hmm. And so it was like $90.
Sure. But
I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
I liked it so much. My dad even got one.
Nice. That's hilarious.
Just for no other reason other than he thought it was really cool, and so he wanted one too.
Nice.
So if you get a Zoom, your parents might get one too.
Yeah. Should we move on to the next sound?
Yeah. The only other thing I would say for who was it? Would the free course help me? Oh yes. I would definitely say yes. And Garavi, I would, if I'm saying your name right, if I'm not, I apologize. I would say even not just the free course, but also participate in the competition, because you learn so much just from doing. Most of the competitions we provide stuff with. And to the end of the phone stuff. So when we did a competition a few months ago, and we did the single source recording, and it was the recreating the flame sweep from Star Wars: The Old Republic, I used paper and I recorded it with my phone. So I'll post my example of that in Discord, so you all can hear, like, that's just paper being ripped using the mic on the phone.
Yeah.
And that, I want that to be an encouragement to people, like, you can make something like that with just your phone.
Sure.
So yes, Garavi, I would say take the free course, but also participate in the competitions.
Yeah,
and
the practical hands-on experience can't be beat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, enough for that side trail. Let's move on. So we have Nicholas Smith.
Nice.
That's just cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. That like ripping effect is so nice. Yeah, that's one thing that I definitely feel like I missed out on my sound that I made is like really emphasizing. I made a sound for like the portal ripping open, but that was just so cool.
Oh, we can call him Jerry.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, welcome, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you for being part of our weird group.
Yeah, something like that.
I say that with all the love.
Yeah, sure.
So I love Nicholas Smith's sound. I think it's incredible. My one nitpick is going to be that fade in. That fade in is very cinematic, but that fade in would not be realistic for gameplay.
I think it's fine personally.
I think it's fine personally. Yes, it's and this is just going back to just player feedback. Again, in a game like this that's very fast paced, when a player hits a key, if they have to wait longer than a second for something to happen,
I see what you're saying.
And so that fade in comes in before the warp even shows up.
Right, that makes sense.
And that's why I said it's very cinematic.
Yeah.
It's like if it was part of a cinematic in a video game or part of a movie, it would be right at home.
Right.
But in gameplay, that build is way too long, and your players would start to feel nervous.
Can you play it again, actually?
Yes.
I guess I don't really hear it as much because are you saying like the
So that fade in starts. So the circle hasn't even showed up, and the fade in's already been playing.
Oh, is that okay? Because I wasn't sure if that was like an error.
No.
Okay, that's actually
just
part of it. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Because then he has that.
I think it just wasn't loading that. I don't know. I could be wrong. But.
No, I think it was Nicholas. If you're watching, answer the question for us. Who's right? It's me.
But regardless, like it's.
Oh no, it's a great sound.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Though.
I'm nitpicking.
Yeah,
that's all that this is.
No, I see what you're saying.
I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, I think it sounds cool though. Like
it's wonderful.
And the one thing I was gonna say was the ending was didn't really live up to the rest of the sound. I'd say. Sounds cool. I think that that like sort of like I don't even know what to call it. Like there was like a warble effect at the end. I feel like it didn't really match the aesthetic for the rest of the sound.
Because you had that one big explosion when the warp first opens, but then it's not as big when the warp opens again.
That, but also like it just felt kind of cartoony. I guess a little bit at the end. Like that was like that warble like. It seemed like a frequency like oscillator or something like that at the end. I don't know if you heard that, but
you can hear it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I kind of feel like just when you have such like a noisy sound like this, the contrast from like all the noisy to like having like a very specific pitch focused sound isn't the right contrast you want in a sound, I'd say. But I'm nitpicking too. So.
Yeah. Oh no, this is Nicholas. If you're watching this either now or you're watching this later, please understand we are just nitpicking. This is like fine-tooth comb at this point.
Yeah.
Your sound is great.
Yeah,
I think the
really
frequency spectrum is wonderful. I love that explosion sound when the warp first opens. I kind of wish you would have doubled that again when the warp opens the second time, or do something similar to that.
Yeah, I mean, and especially since it's like the same exact like teleport sound, like using the same source recording or somewhat of the same source recording for that helps.
Even if you just like pitch it up or down a little bit, just to add a little bit of variation,
or just cut off the high frequencies or the low frequencies, something along those lines. To make it feel a little bit bigger or smaller depending on what your vision is. I think it's wonderful. I think you did a great job and you should be proud. Like I said, my one critique would be player feedback. I love the cinematic feel to it. Like it adds so much tension having that right before the warp opens up. That is wonderful tension. But in a fast-paced esports game,
players need to feel like as soon as they push the button, the action happens.
Yeah.
And that's when your sound should start.
Yeah.
Because in a fast-paced game, if you have something with like a even a half-second cast time can feel like forever when someone is wailing on you.
Yes, for sure.
So, but because this is not actually going into the video game, this is just a cinematic thing.
If we were judging this as with points and stuff, I don't think we'd dock points for that.
I just think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I love it. If I could, I would put that in the game.
Yeah.
Like if I had any sort of decision-making ability.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, really good job, Nicholas.
Yes.
Thank you so much for participating, and we hope to see what you make next month.
That's Alex Brown.
I think Alex... No, I don't think he's one. There's so many Alexes, and, like, I don't know, a lot of the names blur together. Nice. So I love it when people do the rune syncing.
Yes.
That's a really nice touch that I think is done really well across a lot of these sounds when they do it. And they seem to they managed to like take those little piano and guitar sounds that you had in there.
Actually, I think that was just the squeak. I would think that was just
that?
one of the doctor office squeaks.
I think you're right, actually.
And they just pitched them.
That wasn't. Yeah, you're right.
They did a major triad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really easy. If you want to do that in Reaper,
that's super easy.
You can just duplicate the track 3 times, and then you just sync them all to the right spots after you sync one of them, and then you hit Shift 9 4 times, and then you hit Shift 9 on the third one for 3 times after that. So a total of 7 times, and that would create a major chord with whatever pitched sound door squeak that Brian provided.
Don't worry. February is a lot easier.
It's a lot easier.
And then we're gonna have some super fun time plans later for the year.
Yep.
I mean, what better way to start off 2020 with the longest month of the year and the hardest competition?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we had 3,000 days of January.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the longest month of the year already. Yeah.
So I'm surprised it's not 2021 yet.
For real. Alex Brown also said he had to fight Pro Tools so much during the making of this that he's going to be switching to Reaper.
Woo! One of us.
One of us.
Google, one of us.
I think that, definitely.
Okay, now he's going back to Pro Tools.
Yeah. Now he's just like, on second thought.
The cult of Reaper wins again.
Let's listen to that sound one more time.
I do, and yeah.
I was gonna say that I would say overall, just like I think just like finding a way to get white noise, and then I think that's the biggest thing. Like the first note I can say for you, Alex, is just getting like a little bit of white, finding a way to get white noise out of those recordings. I used distortion, and that worked pretty well. Some other people had some other ideas, but just putting in some white noise layered in with the source recordings, and I think that would go a long way. Yeah,
I would agree with that. I think, and this is just for the competition. If you want to throw a limiter on your final mix bus, and then you can boost it up to competitive volumes.
And while you're designing the sound, there are people that are making sounds and putting them in the first week. And like there's nothing wrong with like checking out what other people did and just using them for inspiration. We're growing together as a community. So
exactly. No, I love hearing what everyone else does as I'm making mine.
Yeah, agreed.
And by saying that, I mean I let Ryan finish first, and then I just do what he did.
Your sound actually, our sound for next competition, actually, our sound very similar, actually.
Yes, and I hadn't heard yours.
That's funny.
Before.
I didn't hear yours, but we went in the same direction, for sure. Yeah, that's really funny.
I think we tried to do more of a recreate rather than a redo.
Yeah, I think you're right. That sounds about
that's fine. I didn't know what else to do.
I didn't either. Like, we had 3 source recordings, and they all fit into specific parts of the sound in a very interesting way. You guys will see in a week.
You'll see. We're going to stop talking about that. That's for another time.
So Rochus, he had some trouble, or they had some trouble uploading the video, but it looks like they got it, which is nice.
Do it on Instagram.
Yeah, we're doing it on Instagram. nice.
Oh, that's cool.
So one thing that I would really well synced. The door squeaks still sound like door squeaks, but they still work pretty well. Actually. Yeah. The one thing I will say though, Rochus, is that if you're gonna do any sort of sound design, silence is your enemy. You should never, almost unless very specific circumstances of telling a story, try not to use any silence in what you're creating, I would say. And like, because the small little gap between the first part of the sound and the second part of the sound, people notice that there's no volume or no sound.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, it just kind of hurts the storytelling and takes people out of the immersiveness of your sound.
I see we have more people on our stream. Just as a reminder, we are reviewing the submissions from January. For January, we were doing the Rise Warp from League of Legends. If you are just joining us and you have no idea what the competition is, we do a monthly sound design competition where we recreate different sounds from different video games. And this time we provided 3 different source recordings for you to use, and you were only allowed to use those source recordings. Yeah. You could do whatever it is you wanted with them, but you were limited only to those.
Yeah.
For this competition, we're reviewing
all the submissions.
We're reviewing all the submissions, giving our opinions on them. At the end, we will select a random winner, a community voted winner, and then 1 judge voted winner.
Yep.
So they'll have 3 winners, and all 3 will win a free month of the Game Audio Training Series. To learn more about the Game Audio Training Series, you can go to blipsounds.com, BLIPSOUNDS.
It'll be in the description, too.
It's in the description, and, I mean, obviously, you found us, so you're on our YouTube page.
You're stuck with us forever now.
Blipsounds.
Once you hit that subscribe button, there's no going back.
But go to blipsounds.com. You can learn more about the Game Audio Training Series, learn more about the competitions.
And if you're not looking for, or if you're looking to kind of just dip your feet in the water, the free course is probably one of the best spots to start learning sound design and integration as well.
I would say definitely yes, with absolutely no bias.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Nope. There's a gun under the table that I have.
Just staring at me. How do I secretly tell people he doesn't?
Yes.
Let's listen to Rochus again.
One more time, yeah.
Actually, we need to let it start over.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say ultimately just like...
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with this sound, you just have to process the crap out of it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all about the plugins.
Yeah, like and you can do it with just free plugins that you find in Reaper or whatever GAW you're in. That's very doable. It's just, like trying. You just have to add so much to mask the door squeak sound, unfortunately. So, what you checking out?
Just because it keeps yelling at us about the bit rate.
No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's a huge deal. Eshgor says, I was thinking about the silence for a while. It seemed logical for me to leave the silence because he jumps from one to another. Okay, yeah, so he jumps from location to location. That makes sense. The one thing I would say then, if you want to do something like that, is just to add a little like ambience track underneath it. And I know that's kind of hard given the recordings that we had, but you can probably take a small part of the recordings that Brian provided and just cut out the just do a low pass filter on it, and then you would get some sort of background noise to it.
And to that end about silence, one of the biggest reasons you want to use silence for is creating anticipation.
Yeah.
And a great example of where to use silence was when we did the Mario Flood a few months ago. So there's the charge and then there's the release.
Yeah.
And if you watch the animation, there is a brief moment where it pauses. And then like after he charges, it pauses, and then the release. And a few people put in that kind of half breath of silence.
Yeah.
And that creates a bigger anticipation. In this, there's not really a build and release as he's moving from one to the other.
Actually, can you play it one more time? Because I wonder where he did the... Yeah,
It's part of it is because it cuts off. So
I was gonna
suddenly.
say, yeah, Ashker, if that's what you're doing, then I would just say try and time it a little bit better. Like time it to when the camera cuts, and I think you would be better off with that.
Yeah. You could make a good argument for what you were saying there.
Yeah. I think it just could be just timed slightly differently, and that actually might turn out really well.
The other thing about it too is you hear all this reverb and then it cuts so suddenly, it's very jolting.
Yeah.
So you could cut the sound and just let the reverb keep going.
Yeah, even that is like, and maybe that's what I was hearing more so is the fact that like
it cuts.
Yes.
It cuts entirely.
Yeah. It's just too abrupt maybe. So
yeah.
I think the idea that you had was good. It just could have used
different execution.
A little bit of a cleanup. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have let the reverb continue. And then keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Because it almost feels like, did my audio just cut out?
Yeah, a little bit.
I apologize for the plane.
No, I like it. I think it's great. Get out your recorders, everyone, and record the stream.
I don't know why I did that. I'm going to record with my M80 Zoom.
Very good. Playing a lot of Counter-Strike, I see.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to record.
That's basically what an H6 looks like.
Actually, that is my one hated trope in all movies. Whenever they hold up the shotgun, they have to pump it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
The chamber's already loaded.
That's a good point, actually.
I hate it every time. We were watching one TV show where the person had the shotgun. They pumped it 3 times before they shot it. Like, then they round a corner. Nobody's here. They're like, why? And my wife is going, it's okay. Just calm down. It doesn't matter.
But it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So,
enough about that. Thank you so much for submitting, Eshker, and we hope to see you in future months.
Yes, and also thank you for just jumping in the chat and explaining your thought process.
No, that actually helps us a lot for giving you like more specific feedback. So we really appreciate you joining in.
Yeah. And I do agree with that silence. Like what you were saying.
Yeah, and I think that what you said makes sense too, Eshker. So
I think it's just execution at that point. It
absolutely.
Cuts so suddenly, it feels jarring.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't yet, make sure to post your sound in the Blipsounds Discord server because there's a lot of people are around to give feedback on these sounds. So
yeah. Now we have
yeah, happy to help, Eshker. Thank you so much for joining, man.
So now Michael decided to sue a sound where you from a handful of samples. Little did he know. That's very sing-song.
I liked that a lot. I think
Rise is gonna play you a nice tune.
Yeah.
He took the guitar. That was
No, I really like the ending too. Like I know I've been I've been getting at people for like not making the ending as big, but I really like the like bassy, like impactful. Like there's a really nice transient like with like that distorted bass sound at the end there.
Like now I want Rise to put on a set of sunglasses and just like play on a piano and be like, "So, you want to go somewhere?"
Where am I taking you?
Hey, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Appreciate having y'all out
here. That oscillating effect right before the teleport is like...
Oh, it's Happy Head 2. That's his submission.
Good stuff.
Happy Head. Twitter.
Okay, there we go.
Hey.
Nice. So I think that... now that you brought up the speed thing with a lot of these sounds, like that like little oscillating towards the end of it, I think that's such a good way to build up.
It is.
Like if you just add a couple things that help, like suddenly adding in a high frequency element, also doing what Happy Head here or Michael did, where made the oscillation faster and faster.
Yes.
Helps build up. It just
that
helps.
Tension.
It helps build up the tension. It helps accelerate the feeling of something big happening soon, and then once it like hits its fastest point of the oscillation, it just cuts out.
Well, and also not just the oscillation, but also a pitch rise.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That gives the feeling. I mean, it's this. I have talked about this before. The fancy term that we have is called psychoacoustics. There are sounds we are programmed to associate. When anything speeds up, its pitch gets higher. We associate higher pitch with something going faster.
And scientifically, it's when you're listening to a higher pitch sound. It's literally faster frequency waves.
Yes, it
traveling,
is.
right?
It is faster frequency waves.
Same thing with low end. Like, and that's why when you do the low to high pitch, it feels faster.
Right.
Lower, yeah.
And
or slower, rather.
Right. Whatever you said. I'm just agreeing because so you don't fire me.
Brian will never disagree with me, no matter how wrong I am. I could say just something horrible, and he'd just be like, "Yeah, Ryan, sure, whatever you say."
Exactly. Yeah, just don't fire me.
Yeah.
No, I do like it. I liked your interpretation of that beginning. I feel like the beginning could have had a bigger impact because of how the sound continues on and creates that intensity. It almost feels like it starts like, "Hey, we're going on a nice ride." It's almost kind of what it feels like. Like where you say, "Giddy up on the horse." Oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah. And I think the one thing I think that I'm catching that pattern with a lot of these submissions is I think there's something about like there's a lot of like raw recordings that are being used that aren't processed enough.
Yeah.
Could you play Michael's one more or just unmute
Yep.
real quick? I just want to hear the beginning again. It actually sounds pretty good. I think like a little bit more processing. I think even just like a little bit of like a pitch shifter or maybe cutting out the low end of the sound and like boosting certain frequency ranges or adding some saturation to it, I think would really help a lot with like making the guitar sound not sound like as much of a guitar. I do like the element of the guitar. I just think that I think it just needs a little bit more sound design to make it fit the theme of Rise's Realm more.
Well, and that was something that both myself and I forgot his name.
Austin. Yeah.
Something that Austin and I both did was we took one of the sounds, put them through either a delay or a reverb, and then we set another channel to output whatever was playing, and then grabbed a piece of that so that it was the sound, but it had been warped and distorted enough.
And every single sound that I used for mine was put through a distortion.
Yes.
Every single one. And if you guys want to see how Brian Austin, who's an awesome member of our community, and myself made our own version of the sound, go to the YouTube channel and you can find our own interpretation of the sound, so you guys can maybe learn something. And we'll be putting out another video for next month's competition coming out on Friday.
And happy, like, please don't take anything that we're saying as like negative or anything. It's just critiques.
Yeah. No, for sure. We're glad that you. It's really good that you're recognizing that you had trouble with the beginning, and hopefully you can improve for future months. And feel free to post up in the Discord server your submission, and some people would probably gladly give some feedback. So.
I would say definitely for that beginning, another thing you could try, like what Ryan said, is just putting it into distortion. You just and like don't be afraid to go heavy-handed.
Yeah. With
distortion, like all of this month, my biggest advice would have been don't be afraid to be heavy-handed with anything.
Yeah.
Like make the meter on the compressor just slam to the other side.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna break anything. You're not gonna hurt anything.
Yeah.
It's not like analog equipment where you kind of have to baby it a little.
Yeah.
This is be as heavy-handed as you want. Go nuts.
And if you're taking part in the competition each month, you might do like a crazy like 7-to-1 ratio on a compressor or something like that.
Oh snap!
Yeah. You might do something crazy, but then you make the next sound and you try a 5-to-1 or a 3-to-1.
When I'm mixing music, I do 8-to-1.
Oh no, Brian. I guess it depends on what you're compressing. It's okay to break the rules. Your ears are going to be the best judge out of anything. So don't be afraid to just twist some knobs and see what happens. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and I was going to say, like, if, if you're wondering, can I stack 3 distortion plugins on top of each other?
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that for my sound. Or I reapplied the same distortion 3 times, but...
Oh, no, Michael's sound is really good.
Yeah.
I would, thank you, Red Fern. No, I agree. It's a great sound. We're just nitpicking.
Yeah. I think that at this point we're not, man, I think that this might be one of my favorite endings to a sound, actually.
Yes.
Let's play it one more time before we move on to the next sound. Yeah, that ending's really cool. And
Yes.
and that like
That.
yeah, and then like how it feels like there's like I think it's like a low pass that's like automating at the end when it like the teleportation, the first part of the teleportation closes. I really like that effect.
Michael was using a 9-1 compression.
Okay. Wow.
Everybody here is afraid of compressors.
Do you
Oh,
actually
I am
do it?
heavy-handed on
Interesting.
compressors. Yeah.
I think that it's. I think that you. I'm heavy-handed with compressors too. I'll go that high, but I don't tell people that. Like at least our community and such. Like I usually tell people like, hey, start with like a 3-to-1 compression.
Oh well, I'll say this. So it depends on where I'm at in the chain. If I am on an individual channel, I will use heavy compression. But the farther out I get on the mix bus, I use less compression.
That makes sense.
So
Okay.
like if
That's actually really good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I'm mastering a song and I have a compressor on my master bus, it's set on a 2-to-1 ratio, and that needle is barely moving.
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
because I have the compressor shows me where like the gain reduction, and it's got like 1 dB and then 3 dB, and I try to keep it between that 1 and 3.
Okay.
And if it's hitting the 3 dB too much, I pull it down.
Okay, makes sense.
But like if I'm putting a compressor on an individual track, I'm smacking it.
Yeah.
Like that. I want to see the needle moving. I want to see it bouncing all the time. I don't want to see it steady. I want to see it bouncing.
Sure.
And I'll use anywhere from like a 4 to a 10-to-1 ratio.
That makes sense.
But again, less on the more tracks that are being affected, the less compression I use.
That makes sense. Yeah. Nice.
Don't get me wrong. I know you weren't being mean. I just. Aww.
Well, thank you we appreciate the support for the rest of the community, Redfern. But yeah, great job, Happy Head.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you submitting to the
I
competition.
love that name, Happy Head.
I like it too.
And Fatearea, I think.
Let's check this out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, that was neat.
That was cool.
Even the kid out there liked it.
Yeah. Let's listen to that one more time.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I was wondering what that ticking was, and it was the individual runes coming out.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's actually that's a cool effect.
Yeah.
I like that.
I also like the 2 different pitches where it's like
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think,
Great way of creating a finality.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm trying to think. The one this isn't so in this sound that Fatearea did. They didn't include the silence that we were talking about because it like kept going.
Yeah,
it worked out pretty well. I think I would have liked to hear like at least like a little bit quieter in between the sounds. Just like I think this is where it's showing that like the gap may have helped, and this is like a counter example to like if you leave it going. Because what you suggested with like cutting the sound out to create anticipation.
Right.
I think that Fatearea sound could have benefited through that. Oh,
yeah.
That close sound is really good. Man.
That sound. I think I would have liked a little bit more impact.
Yeah, I can see that. On which part of the sound?
When both portals open.
Okay, cool.
The first portal opening has good impact. I would just like a little bit more intensity.
Sure.
And then some intensity on the second portal.
Yeah. And I think this is another. I think that like hearing. I think it would have been cool too to hear the runes go up in pitch too.
Yeah.
I think,
ding.
Yeah. I think that would have helped build up. Just create more anticipation.
And yes. Okay, Porky Pig.
Yeah. But I think the sound was really good.
No,
overall.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I think our critiques are more so just like how you use the source recordings. I think the source recordings and the processing that you did turned out really well.
Oh yeah, I
think
would
just
not
needs
have
to be
known.
placed a little bit more specifically. Ashker says the subtlety of silence, not too much, not too less. It's an art.
It very much is.
Agreed.
Yes, it's all about that anticipation.
Very good.
Let's see if anybody gets that reference.
Was that How I Met Your Mother?
No.
What was that?
No, How I Met Your Mother is legendary.
But he always does the wait.
Right, he does it's legend, wait for it, dairy.
What's the anticipation from?
Oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it now. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
When Tim Curry character is like, to create anticipation.
That was very Dr. Evil of you. the way that you delivered that.
Yes, anticipation. Patient. I wish I could be as awesome as Tim Curry. Here's my actual entry for this month's challenge. The last one was he was the one that was all like white noise when it played.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Let's check it out, Ryan. Okay, so that was a really cool, like, the way that was processed was really, really cool.
Yes. YouTubeception. It's recommending our video.
Oh, okay, let's watch it. I'm sure it's great. I think
we were missing what was going on in there. Anticipations.
Very good, very good. I think so with this sound, I feel like I loved the way that the sounds were processed.
Yeah.
I think that they just need to be placed better a little bit, just like
again, they went much more sing-song again.
Yeah. I think that like this is an example of where like having more impacts, like you suggested, would go a long way.
Yeah, it's Discord.
Yeah, you can close out of that, or actually you can mute it too. It doesn't really matter, I guess. What's it called? So like if hearing more silence and then like having more of a build up to like a deep impact at the end of when the first part of the teleport starts, and then just having more variety in like the types of sounds that you process, because I think the sound that we're hearing here is again like the sound quality that the design resulted in, really cool, but just like some more variety in different sound textures to layer in together would really help a lot with a sound like this. And then just placing them in the right way and figuring out the rhythmic structure and timing with the animation beyond that point, I think are the notes that I would give for you, Ryan.
And a little bit more low end. I think that it could have used some more, something to give it some oomph.
And I think those impacts that I was talking about kind of could tie together with those impacts, or that low end that you're talking about. But yeah, I think that really good stuff, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for submitting, and we hope to catch you next month too.
Yes. Justin is probably not watching because he clearly is at Global Game Jam 2020. So if that is the case, Justin, best of luck to you in the Global Game Jam. When you get done with it, if you want to share what you did in Discord, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what you were doing.
I might be doing a Global Game Jam video on the YouTube channel too. So me making the sounds for our game that I'm taking part in the Global Game Jam.
Oh, but you're just not there.
Yeah, I'm just not there.
Are you on Aaron's team again, or
Angels? You mean
Angel?
No, I'm on Sean's team actually.
Sean
Pinnock.
Oh, I don't know him.
Oh, okay.
I know the name, but I don't
dude.
know him.
Yeah, he actually. We don't need to talk.
Never
about
mind.
It.
But yeah, so Justin, if you watch this at a later date and you finish with Global Game Jam, feel free to post a link or whatever, or a video to your Discord, to our Discord channel.
Yeah.
Of what you worked on. We'd love to hear it.
Please, yeah. Let's listen to a sound.
Yeah. While we're here
talking
talking
about this. Entering this challenge competition. Didn't have as much time to work on it this month, but I hope everyone enjoys it.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well, unless it's just the high-pitched squeaks.
Ooh.
That was cool.
Oh, see, there's a good example of silence.
Yeah, that was very well executed silence.
And because it doesn't end so sharply.
The theme throughout the entire sound, though, with like those like crystallized like high-pitched sounds.
Yeah. Really
nice. And
thought that was my Discord.
I don't know. Let's go down.
Yep.
Oh gosh. I always hope that it will. Those are some.
And I love that when they're porting over.
And I think that this is a really good example of using automated pitch shifting.
Yes.
Like, because I think that that's something that's very overlooked in a lot of these sounds, is that we've been talking about it the whole time. The low to high automation, like going from slower oscillation to faster oscillation.
Yeah.
And adding more high frequency over time. I think that this is a pretty prime example of showing off, like, pretty specifically how these recordings can be processed and automated over time.
Hey, Emin, thanks for joining us.
Is that Emin or Aaron?
It's Emin.
You're right.
Yeah, that's why I had to look over.
I was like
Aaron.
Yeah, Emin? It looked like Aaron. Welcome out, Emin.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. Did you submit in this month's competition, or are you just hanging out with us?
I think that with.
I want to listen to theirs again because I really liked it.
Yeah. Those textures of that crystallization sound is really, really nice.
They did a great job. They did a great job of layering it, and it's not too busy.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, that's true. I think that it definitely, like, has its own place. I was gonna say it could use more low end and, like, but ultimately I feel like the, like, crystal clear kind of texture that's created with the sound, it kind of works. It just kind of fits in its own bubble, and I think that's fine to not have the low end.
I think the low end, you would run in danger of making it too muddy.
Yeah, agreed.
So if you were going to do low end, it would need to be very tight.
And the sound is so clean, too, that if you added any of that low end, you wouldn't have, like, it'd be hard to blend the low frequencies with the high frequencies, because then you'd have to add white noise to blend them together better.
I think they did a great job. Like, I think a little bit more low end to make it heavier, but as is, I think it's great.
Agreed. Yeah. Really good job, Justin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for submitting.
And have fun at Global Game Jam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I hope you had fun if you're watching this later.
Yeah, sure.
We're from the future.
That's right. Not
really, but iteration 2 from Ambassador Clownish Meerkat.
Oh, this is wait,
they're Double Cube.
I think this is Carl.
Oh, I don't know. I just love that name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Ambassador Clownish Meerkat.
Let's check it out. Nice. So I mean, the consistency between, like, that warbling sound, we've been talking about that a lot.
But we have 17 seconds of dead space. Silence. Within the sound of silence.
So I think that ultimately, like, having more rises and falls.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Hey, you're fired.
Thanks. I counter fire you.
You can't fire me. I fire you.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
We should get Chris in here. He can fire both of us.
That's true. That'd be very good. So I would say, Carl, for the most part, like, the rises and falls that you have in your sound, or I would just, like, add some more pitch shift automation over time. I think that you did a good job of, like, creating that, like, oscillation in the sound, but I think it would be better if the oscillation was maybe faded in or something like that. And you can do that a number of ways with automating the volume on a specific track, or you could do something like apply the effects to the track, and then you can just add a fade in on the individual media item inside Reaper. But ultimately, I think that's your source recordings are good. I think like a little bit more variety in the source recordings would help, and then having and then adding just a little bit more storytelling to your sound, like placing the sound recordings in the right spots.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It is now 4:00. Do we want to take a little break? Just kinda...
Do you want? I'm feeling pretty good, but I could take a break if you need.
Okay. Do we have like anything we could put up, or do we have a dancing figure?
We could put up. We don't have anything.
Okay.
We didn't prep this.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do.
Why don't you hold on? I can get it on my computer real quick. Why don't you go over the next sound on the competition?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna pull up like one of my songs on YouTube and just
that works.
play.
Sure, that works. Yeah, let's take a quick break then.
So, if I could spell here, why don't I just do this?
There you go. You don't need to learn to read.
Yes, seriously.
There we go. Yeah, thanks for joining the stream, Carl.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in about 7 or 8 minutes.
Something
We're just
like
going to go
that.
stretch our legs.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
We'll be back. Thanks, guys. back. You turned off the thing. Good.
Yeah,
okay.
yay! Which one? I want this one.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah.
And we lost some people.
That's okay.
They'll be back.
They'll be back.
They better.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, welcome back to the competition stream where we're going over submissions for the competition. We've gone over a lot of them so far.
And we still have more to go.
And we still have a lot left.
So saddle in.
Saddle in, everyone.
If you've joined, you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
So tough.
We've disabled the ability to close
Exactly.
Windows. But yeah, let's
keep going.
Let's keep going, yeah.
Oh yeah, so that was Rogues. We have Hamed.
Or Ahmed, maybe?
Digging the drums. Thank you, Skosh. Yes.
Let's give a hand for Skosh. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well, I love Skosh.
No, Skosh is my favorite.
Skosh is
second favorite.
Okay, that's fair enough. He can be your first favorite.
He's my favorite.
He's my first favorite.
Yeah, he's my first favorite too.
You're like in the top 20.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you couldn't even tell, right?
Yeah, Ash Gore's like, you guys left?
Yeah, we just left for took a little 5-minute break.
We sound like white noise to him.
Yeah, exactly. But we have a submission from Ahmed.
Yes. Let's check it out. Ooh.
It says that all sounds were made from scratch.
Uh-oh.
Well, we'll review the sound anyways. Yeah, I don't think those were your recordings.
I was going to say, how did he get that? How did he make it sound like dialing a radio sound?
Yeah. Well, the sound's good.
It's great. It's not using our source recordings.
Yeah,
so...
For future reference, for anybody that wants to... that's taking part. You have to use the source recordings off the Blipsounds website. If you go to blipsounds.com and just click the competition tab, you can download those source recordings.
Yes, he probably didn't because Hamed has done some of the older competitions.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we've changed the rules since there.
So to that end, we can judge it, but like we can give our opinions on it, but it won't be eligible
for a prize. Correct.
For a prize,
unfortunately.
So let's listen to it again. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, that musical tone. It's very cool. And I think I would have just liked to hear like a little bit more of a blend between all the source recordings. Yeah. Because they just felt separated, I guess, in terms and like the layering process and the mixing process. So that's really my biggest note. Otherwise, like I think I would just like a little bit more. I think the recordings or the processing for it were more. It could have been a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? If the it would be nice if the processing or the source, the sound quality was like a little less cartoony. I would say. I think I would like something like a little bit more realistic and fitting to the League of Legends aesthetic. So,
I got you.
But otherwise, I think the sound was really good. So
yeah, I liked it a lot. It was very inventive and creative.
Yeah.
Did we already do?
We did Ryan already because he did a.
He did a second entry.
Correct.
Okay, so we have Carlos.
Well, that was the noise one, wasn't it?
Oh, yep.
Good thing we only caught the end of that. That's great.
Whew! That was probably much louder for us than it was for you.
Yeah, potentially. Anyways, Carlos Jimenez.
Yes,
that's our friend. He's been submitting since the very first competition.
Yeah, he has.
That was a good sound.
Ooh.
Really cool.
Nice.
Really cool, like effects. I don't know if it's the speakers, but it just sounds like a little bit piercing.
It could also just be. I think I turned it up too much for the other one.
Oh, gotcha.
Let me try it now.
Yeah, so I think I would just
it's a little too much high end.
Yeah, too much door squeak. No, but I would just say that Carlos, if you just cut out the 8K range with an equalizer, I think that would go a really long way for the sound. Oh, so that the one with the white noise? Yeah,
It's literally just all white noise.
Yeah, Ashkro says, what, not going to review that one? Yeah.
No.
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 We're not. Sorry, Ryan Bundy, but that was Ryan Bundy, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Change your first name to Ed. Married with children?
I get you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, man. I am an old fart.
Yeah, you are.
Everyone's on here is like teens and 20s. Dude, what?
Yeah. But that was I think the first step I would take, Carlos, for your sound is probably just cut out the 8 to 10K range. It's just a little bit piercing. Yeah. Or just pitch shift the entire thing downwards a little bit. I think that could go a long way too.
If you're worried about dulling it too much, you could always use a multiband compressor or a what's the sibilant? What's the plugin to get rid of sibilants? I'm forgetting the name of it.
A de-esser?
Yeah, a de-esser. Yeah. You could use a de-esser or a multiband just to get rid of some of that harshness.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
I know things.
Could you play it one more time? Actually?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that the sources that you have too are pretty strong. I think that I would just like to, because it's so piercing, it's hard to like really gauge what the true balance of the sound is. But from my gut, I can just I have a feeling that it just needs more low end, and especially with the kind of source recordings that you used, I would balance out the frequency spectrum a lot more with just some white noise or something along those lines.
And I mean, none of these recordings really have a lot of low end in them.
Right.
So you're kind of having to make low end out of thin air.
Yeah, and if you want to do that, it's not too hard. You just have to add a low pass filter to it, and then some compression can help too.
Yes.
To like bring out the lower frequencies more.
That or using, again, distortion and saturation.
Definitely.
That'll help bring out some of those things. Because a video for another time, but distortion and saturation acts like a compressor.
Yeah, it does.
So when you hear people using distortion or saturation to fatten something up, it's because it's acting like a compressor.
Yeah.
So that'll be a video for another time where we can talk about distortion and harmonics and all that kind of stuff, because I could nerd out hardcore on that.
Nice.
So let's check out our family-friendly Skosh.
Thanks for joining the stream, Skosh.
Yeah.
Here's my entry for the Blipsounds January competition. They are very pesky by providing us with only squeaks and creaks sound sources to use noisy ones too.
Don't you have to sound like an Irishman?
I'm not gonna disgrace Skosh. Like I'm not gonna disgrace his people.
You just didn't want to make fun of yourself.
No, I just don't want to offend him.
I know. I wish I could talk like Skosh.
Skosh has one of the best voices.
He sounds so cool when he talks. I want to talk like Skosh.
Let's take a listen. Wow.
Nice.
That was a big improvement from what you sent in the Discord server, Skosh.
Proof that peer feedback works.
Yeah, and peer pressure.
Well, and also just proof that, I mean, Skosh has been doing a lot of the competitions.
He's won 2 of them, and he's been part of
since at least the second or third one.
I think he joined the very first one.
Or the very first one.
Something like that. Skosh, big improvements though. Seriously, it sounds really good.
My only little liked every except mine.
Just like we're just lying. We're just like, oh, Skosh is the favorite. He's the best, and it's just like.
Actually, my one nitpick, which would be the difference between Carlos and Skosh, is I actually think Skosh could use a little bit more high end.
Could you play it one more time?
In his.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I think that just in general, like, I think that high end helps bring out the loudness a little bit more in the sound. It's such a weird balance with like low end and high end and making it all come out together in the right way.
And that's where it has to do with energy.
Right.
Low frequency has a lot more energy, but doesn't sound as loud.
Yeah,
compared to high frequency,
which has higher perceived loudness.
Right, but lower energy.
Right.
So That's why, just if you're ever mixing or mastering a song and you're trying to figure out why your song on paper is loud, like it might have, really low, really high, LUFs. It might be like -8, but it sounds really quiet. It's probably because you have too much low end. And so it's going to provide a lot more energy, but not perceivable loudness. So you need more high end for perceivable loudness.
Yeah, and honestly, like one of the best ways to do that, I'll say it 1,000 times, just finding a way to get white noise out of this recording will help you find like a consistent white or a high frequency content.
Yeah.
And then you just match you can probably do it with your sound now, Skosh. If you take the sound and you create some more, if you just match the transients and the fades and all of that with some white noise in certain spots, I think that'd go a long way.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was really, really inventive and creative, and you can't tell that those are squeaks.
I agree, yes. Yeah, I think like in general,
I love that ending.
Yeah, the ending's probably one of my favorite parts. I would say the build-up at the start could be a little bit more exciting, I guess. A little bit more, just more build-up in general would be nice. On
I think you would get that from adding a little bit more high-end and adding some transients.
Definitely.
So no, you're not that late.
Actually, I don't think we've gone over your sound yet.
Yeah, and even if we have, we'll go back and touch on it.
Is that Neokiyo? Am I saying? I just can't read it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Neokiyo.
Welcome, Neil.
We're old and have bad eyes.
What? Give me your glasses so I can see. Cool. Well, thanks for joining the competition against Skosh, and good job.
We enjoyed your sound. We really did enjoy it.
We did enjoy it.
You're our favorite Skosh.
Then how come you haven't liked it yet?
Oh, that's right. I mean, to be fair, I didn't like all of these videos up here, and not because I didn't like them. I just haven't.
I don't believe you. I think you're lying. Oh, is it frozen? Oh, no, we're good.
No, it just was being weird.
Gotcha.
I don't know why.
So
now I can't scroll anymore.
Weird.
I might have to refresh it, but I don't want to.
Yeah, that's fair. Now we got Nico.
Nico Hatunen. I am apologizing in advance. I wasn't gonna make that joke.
Cool, I did.
Let's check out their video. Wow,
that was cool.
That was neat. Yeah. I want to hear that again. That was very similar to what I did with my portals. Wow.
I don't have any. I don't think I have any critiques.
I think it was great. I feel like
I just like in general, like it sounds solid.
Obviously, it did a lot of processing. I love the intensity,
the loudness, the quiet to loud. That's another way to build really good.
They did a little bit of a pause in there.
Yeah. Starting with that high pitch note at the beginning, really awesome.
And they add that anticipation. I love it.
Oh, and there's like a transient when it closes.
Right when it closes. It's so awesome.
Oh, it has like a really noisy and it's like very bassy and like it's very
oh my
like
goodness.
A distorted bass. It's really, really, really cool.
All right, from here on out, I'm quitting. Nico is doing this.
Okay.
From here, just
okay. Nico, come over.
Yeah.
And do the stream for us.
Nico, you up?
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I actually really don't have anything else to say to Nico.
No, I don't. I think it's a great sound. I
want to give it more time because it's really good.
Right.
We'll play it one more time. Let's do that.
There's just a lot of attention to detail. There's a lot of
really
processing.
Well balanced.
Yeah. No, I think that's easily
a lot of clean source recordings too.
Yes. I think it's easily one of the top sounds.
Yeah.
So, great job.
Yeah, great job, Nico.
Yeah.
Really good job.
I'm just going to move on.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say.
I agree.
That's right. I can't scroll anymore.
Oh, it's really frustrating.
I think I need to like refresh it. I think something.
Do you want to do that or?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. Aircraft. Ooh. That was interesting.
That was an interesting way to use this quote-unquote silence. That was cool. Okay,
but they kept the reverb tail going.
Well, it sounded like a reverb tail. It sounded like a... Yeah, I guess it was. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was just like a consistent sound.
Nice. I just want to hear that again.
I love it. I love that
Yes.
like light coming down sound. That's one of my favorite things to hear in this sound. And like just using like it almost feels like lightning, you know. So like using just straight white noise for that with like maybe like a little bit of like a low pass automating, something like that. So cool.
I think they did a great job. I think my only nitpick critique would be a little bit more low end.
I can agree with that.
That would be it. Other than that, like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Like,
definitely needs like some impacts on like, the low end, on some of the more prominent storytelling elements of the animation.
It's got a great feel though. Like, it's very frenetic. It feels very fast paced. It feels intense. I like it. I like it a lot. Great job, Aircraft.
Yeah, thank you so much for submitting to the competition.
You landed that one well. I'll see myself out.
Please do. Welcome, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Jason is Aircraft.
Hey, Jason. Great job on your video.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
You did a killer job.
No, I loved it. I would say, like, if you want to do like a breakdown of what you did and share it with us, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll make sure to retweet it and all that if you. We'd love to see how you guys make these sounds.
Both you and Nico. I think I'd love to see how you all like took it. Like what sort of creative decisions you made.
Just anybody too. Just like even the people that aren't like making as good of sounds as like in the top the top 3 or 5 or whatever. Like even just getting there's just like small ideas that can be shared.
Oh yeah.
Like, even like I bet that Nico and Aircraft could probably learn from some of the sounds.
Oh yeah.
That just have some certain processing tools on them.
Yeah. Ideas are not meant to be withheld. Ideas should be shared.
Agreed.
So I think we can all learn from everybody.
Definitely.
So yeah, no, great job, Jason. Sorry for my bad pun. Not really. I stand by it.
I don't.
That's fine. You're sitting by it.
He's alone.
Really?
That was your first crack.
Wow.
Thanks. He says thanks. It's my first crack at sound design. Will do.
I give up.
That's a really good job.
We are in the presence of a prodigy. I'm done. I am never touching a DAW again. I am not worthy.
All right, let's check out Yo-Yo News. Or Nows?
I don't know.
Cool.
Oh, I like that. That's kind of neat.
That
ending.
I think my favorite part of the sound is the like wind texture that was created from it. That like whooshing.
Yeah.
And, like it builds up into some higher frequency. Yeah, that was really cool.
That was great.
Yeah, I would just say like it's just very low heavy. It definitely
that's what he's a music nerd. So he's been
okay, you're cheating then.
You're cheating. It's not your first sound design.
No, but it's a really good sound.
It is great.
That's not easy to do, even if you are from doing music.
No, I know. I'm being angry.
You're cheating.
You're cheating. I don't want to admit that someone is better than me. That's all that this is. This is pure and unadulterated pride.
Definitely. So I think Yo-Yo, I would definitely just some lower frequency or just some little bit more higher frequencies would go a long way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And some more processing and that little kind of like that oscillated air sound. I think automating that oscillation so it gets faster would again help that feeling of movement.
True. Agreed.
So hey, we're getting to Neokiyo.
Hey, Neokiyo. We got your sound.
We've got your video. Let's check it out. Oh, very 8-bit.
Yeah, I like.
I like it.
Yeah, that was cool. I would one more time if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think that the one thing that I will say immediately is just adding more tail
Yeah.
to a lot of the individual layers and source recordings and such.
But I like the 8-bit feel.
I do like it a lot. It just like definitely like I noticed at the beginning, like the sound stops.
Yeah.
And then another sound comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But if we had heard a tail or like some sort of reverb at the end of that first part of the sound, then it would have actually transitioned really nicely into the next part of the sound.
Yeah.
Most likely.
No, I like it, Neokiyo. I think you should be proud of what you did.
No, I think it's really good.
I love the sounds that you got. I love that that automated oscillating.
Yeah.
And they had that jing 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 for the runes.
Just one suggestion about the oscillation, the way that it like gets faster and faster.
Yeah.
I would just raise it in volume as it goes.
Yeah.
Because it definitely feels like it tapers out, and we want the anticipation to build in volume rather than fall down in volume.
Yeah.
And maybe that was a side effect of the plugin you used or something, but just a little bit of volume automation can go a long way to help that.
Yeah, and that happens when you have some sort of oscillation or tremolo or something like that, because it is cutting the volume in and out.
Definitely.
And as it's getting faster, we're perceiving it as quieter.
Definitely. Agreed.
So, all right, let's check out Lewis MacDonald. No. Oh, that's already intense.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one of the a sound that like I think was okay without the silence. I think I still would have liked to hear the silence in the middle, but
yeah, I think it's just the reverb is a little heavy.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, that impact
Great
at the end.
impact.
That impact at the end is awesome. Really well balanced too.
Yes.
I think that there's like a little bit. There's a decent amount of piercing on the sound.
Yeah.
On like the higher frequencies, but ultimately it's like not. I don't think it's bad enough to like hurt your ears.
No.
I would just stay on the side of caution for that, and like probably duck down like 6 decibels or something like that on the 8K range.
I know Lewis has talked about that in Discord.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Was like any feedback or?
No, it's I think it's the same Lewis. He just got hearing aids, so he can now hear more frequency spectrum.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I think he's still getting used to hearing a lot of the higher ends and how to adjust for that.
That makes sense.
So
interesting.
No, it's great. I love it. I love that intensity. I love that.
It's very it's a full and rich sound. And,
yeah.
It's very well mixed, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, really awesome job, Lewis.
A great low end too.
Yeah,
that was really, really good.
Just like across the board, the frequency spectrum is very clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we already saw Ambassador Meerkat and Jello Yang.
Yeah.
All right, let's check this out.
That was cool.
Nice.
I think that first sound is that water droplet sound.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I love how it starts almost innocuous.
Yeah.
And then gets intense. And then I liked how this is the first one with the rune sound. He went down. Woo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think what I would have liked to hear is, can you play one more time? Yeah, I think just like a little bit more of a build up in some way, and I think that mostly just in volume, just to be volume automated upwards and volume over time a little bit, or just adding more elements layered in over time. So
and Jello is another one who he's done so many of these competitions and has just improved since starting them. So again, to anybody he's
won as well.
Yeah. So to anybody who's just starting out, like, you know, and you're asking like, how do I improve as a sound designer? The competition.
Yeah.
You know, we had Skosh, we have Jello, we had a few others who have been doing these competitions since day one, and they have only just gotten better. Yeah. Like if I could plot them on a graph, it would be almost a linear improvement.
Definitely.
So.
Actually, do you mind if we scroll down and see how many more entries we have left? I just want to make sure that we're. I know you said you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 13 submissions left.
Okay, time to start shotgunning.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Why don't we just start from Yuso and work our way up?
Sure, that works.
All right.
Yuso.
Yuso Tolonen.
Yuso did a really awesome breakdown for his sound, actually. His sound is cool.
Ooh.
That's one of the that's in the top 3.
Yeah.
So good. That crisp high pitched sound at the end. Really nice use of reverb.
Great frequencies.
And like really awesome just general storytelling, and
yeah.
It's so cool.
There's a lot of intensity. It feels intense.
Agreed.
It feels like, we are on a mission.
Agreed. Really good job, Yuso. Yeah, I don't have much else to say on Yuso.
We're gonna start shotgunning. Oh, neat.
Yeah, so the biggest thing for that one is definitely just the white noise. It's just a little bit too much white noise, I'd say, and just I like to break down sound design into white noise and frequency fillers. White noise and personality. So like white noise can be used to fill out the frequency spectrum, and then you can control which parts of the frequency spectrum it manipulates with just some EQ. But then once you add in like more pitch centric elements, kind of like the door squeaks that you provided, then like you can layer those into the process, and then it sort of just builds the personality through that, and then you can make it a little bit more, I guess, give it some personality, really, is what it is. So yeah, really good job though, Gorkon. I would just try and focus on adding more personality with some more unique source recordings, and then also focusing on more storytelling elements. And then we have the Khmerian. Nice.
Ooh, I like it. It almost has like a horror movie feel.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
I do like that snap at the beginning.
Yeah.
I like some of the decisions. It does feel a little muffled.
Yeah.
And I think that just has to do with like adding in a little bit more high end.
Yeah. Just putting in some white noise there for certain spots, and then just balancing those frequencies, really.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to. Can we play it one more time?
Yeah.
The ideas for like the placements of where you have the specific source recordings are really solid.
Yes.
I feel the impacts in the right spot, and it's timed well to the animations, and it's synced well. It definitely just needs like a little bit more, interesting, processed sounds at the end result, and then combine those together to make some cool sounds. So.
No, I agree. I think everything's placed well. I think there's good layering. It doesn't feel too busy.
Right.
It just feels a little muffled.
Right. Agreed.
So.
And yeah, I think that there's some pretty easy fixes there that you can improve on. So
we have Christian
Peridot. Cool.
Nice. It's another one of those ones that starts innocuous and then
that was
explodes.
That was probably one of the more unique ones I've seen in terms of like how the story was told for the sound.
Yeah.
Because most people kind of have like a very similar build, but this one has more of an exponential sort of. I can't really show it, but I just know how many times I've used the exponential like curve fade and all that.
Yeah, because it goes like that.
Yeah.
It like takes off.
Yeah.
It's like meander off.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's listen to that again. That's cool.
That is intense. And then like right there at the end.
Yeah.
It almost is kind of distorting at the end.
Yeah, and
it's getting a little too intense.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I don't know what to say. Like I think that overall like it's missing something. It's like I think it needs, maybe, you know what it is? I think it just needs more processing. Like some of the recordings that are coming through, they just feel like they need something else to like make it feel like a little bit more professional. And maybe it's just a matter of combining or just mixing the layers together a little bit better and more professionally, I'd say.
No, I would agree.
Yeah. Or just tighter transients, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And we have Jake Byrne.
Nice.
That feels very video gamey. I like it.
Yeah.
It feels very 16-bit.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of really good low frequency content.
Yeah.
Good high frequency content. I just feel like that it just needs to be blended a little bit better together.
Yeah, it's a lot of like up and down.
Yeah, and I feel like it'd be really nice to hear a lot more transitions between one part of the sound into the next. I always say that for any like music or sound design, everything that you're creating is a transition. Even when you start like the very next part of the sound that you go into, you should be thinking about how can I transition from this part of the sound and make the most emotional impact to get to this next part of the sound. And those can be key points from the portal starting to the runes showing up, to the light shining down onto Rise, to him disappearing into the teleport, to the portal closing. There's a lot of things that you can do to focus on in terms of how you can tell that story and how you can make the experience for the listener that much better.
Yeah, so you're not just putting a bunch of things together. You're figuring out how it flows together.
Yes, exactly.
So it doesn't sound like a bunch of disjointed sounds together.
Right.
But how are you creating one cohesive sound from beginning to end?
Yeah, agreed. 100%.
No, I like it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Nice, great advice. A Higo. I don't know. I'm gonna stop.
Higo. Cool. I'm trying to think of like what kind of processing that is.
I mean, you can feel there's a lot of low end rumble going on.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say it's very scooped.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of mids.
The same. Yeah.
And I think the highs are a little too piercing. I think they could have pulled on the highs, but I like that attack.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's like a lot of distortion, saturation going on the high frequencies, and maybe it could have been toned back a little bit.
And they used a lot of pitch shifting.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of cool ideas. Definitely just needs to be. This is an example of maybe just like reeling back a little bit on the plugin usage.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, something like that.
I
or
think
maybe it just needs more white noise in there to fill out the frequency spectrum.
Yeah, I was gonna say not so much pulling back on the plugin usage, but more of just evening out frequencies.
Right, I agree with that.
Understanding that the high end is a little too piercing.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
Pulling that down a little bit. If they were scooping the mids, maybe not scooping them as much.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a lot of low end rumble in there. I think that low end is sub 60 hertz.
Yeah,
it's almost you feel it more than you hear it. And part of the problem is that when you have that scoop and you have low ends that are below 60, and you don't hear them, if you're listening to this like on a laptop or like some crappy speakers or something like that, or crappy headphones, you're not gonna get that real low.
Yeah.
You want to hear, if you want to get low end in there, that's mostly in your 200 hertz range.
Yeah.
Your 200 range, and that's where you'll get more perceptible low end.
Yeah.
Things below 60, that's just making your seat rumble at that point.
Definitely. Agreed.
Ivan Ban.
That was nice. That was really nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
And again, has that sort of like 16-bit feel.
Yeah, there's like a lot of like volume oscillation, like LFO stuff going on there.
Yeah.
I actually really like it. Yeah, it has the oscillation building up to the final, to the all that stuff. That's really cool. I feel like I would like to hear a a little bit more mid-range in the sound, or maybe just like lowered high end. Like it's very like crisp and clean and high pitched. I don't know. I think I just like to hear a little bit more not as in your face sounds.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense. But overall, I really like the sound a lot.
I think it was great.
Let's listen to it. I just want to hear it one more time if you don't mind.
I do.
Yeah, that like crystallization effect, like with the oscillating high end. I mean, that was probably used with the really awful high pitched door recording that you had, and they made it work really well. And
I love how you keep calling it a door. There is no door used in these recordings at all.
That sounds like a door.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's no door.
That's so funny.
Yes. No door. Not more door.
Yeah.
Not Hodor.
Not Hodor.
No door.
No door.
No door. Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door! Sorry, couldn't resist.
Then we got
Farthest Empire sound.
Aloha.
Oh, they were Aloha from the very beginning.
He was in the
chat. If you're still with us, Farthest Empire, we finally got to your sound. Absolutely. You were the farthest away from our hearts.
Cool.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. I love the sing song with the runes, and it had like the delay on it added to it. I just feel like the ending, it just kind of peters out.
I was gonna say the same thing. It needed like some sort of like low end on the ending, or
or
a sharper transient.
Yeah. Because it's very cute. It's very cute with that tweet at the end.
Yeah. I didn't notice that. So
yeah,
it kind of got the idea across. It definitely just needed
It just needed more.
Yeah,
it was a really cute tweet at the end.
If you wanted to keep it that small, for this Empire, then you could probably I bet you could probably layer in just another like low impact in there, and it'd probably be successful in terms of like keeping it minimal, but also making it fulfilling.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that I would have liked to see more on that end.
Definitely.
It's like I said, it's a cute ending, but it almost just doesn't match what's going on.
I can agree. Yeah.
I mean, which is kind of funny because he warps right in front of that big creature, so it's kind of like hello.
It's very
so
true.
I mean, but great job overall.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I loved it, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Let's play it one more time before we. Yeah, that's so cool.
There's a lot of attention to detail.
Yeah,
I mean,
there really
that is one of the strengths. A lot of attention to detail. A lot of everything you see on screen is being accounted for.
Yeah, there's every bit of movement has some sort of like low pass movement or some sort of pitch shifting movement or some sort of oscillation that's building up to something. Really cool.
Yeah, it's a great job. I like it a lot. And then we have Esael Huard. I never know how to say his name.
Cool.
I'm going to let that play again. I think we came in a little late.
That little impact that comes in when the light shines down.
Yeah. I would have liked to have heard that impact again.
Yeah.
On that second portal.
Definitely.
It's great. I like what they did with the one creaking. Yeah. They definitely pitched it down a lot.
Definitely.
But I think they could have done a little bit more processing on it.
Sure. Makes sense.
But yeah, I like that impact. I just wish that they would have duplicated that impact.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Like, it has it covers the frequency spectrum really nicely. I would be a little bit more conservative with the high pitched sound, just a little bit. Maybe I think just like a little bit of a low pass on there would have helped a lot. There's a certain like frequency balance that like I'm just feeling out with these, and like, it just needs like a little bit less higher frequency, I would say.
Tiago, we would love to have you be part of our
please.
Next month's competition. Like, please do. We would love to hear what you create. We will be announcing that next Friday.
Definitely.
So stay tuned.
And we have Andrea next.
I think we're getting... Oh, So, Andrea, I'm not even going to try.
Carson Zuola. Nice. Yeah, I think that like that texture that you created for the looping portal sound is really cool. Like a really interesting, like windy sort of texture.
Yeah.
I think that I would have just probably done some sort of like pitch shifting element or some sort of EQ, something like that to change it over time.
I was gonna say something to that effect where like when that's really cool that whoo that she creates, but I would have liked for it to hit and then get out of the way.
Yeah,
because I think it covers up some of the elements. When you listen to it, some things get a little buried. Like it goes on a little bit longer than it should have. I would have liked to have hear it and then either volume automation to pull it out of the way, or like you said, some sort of pitch shifting, some sort of EQ, something to get it out of the way.
Definitely. Farthest Empire says, "Thank you guys for the critique. Listening to all of these is extremely eye-opening. Good job, everyone."
They are, especially for me. I love hearing everyone's interpretation of it, especially since this was really a blank canvas.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, you did a great job too, Farthest Empire. Good job.
Yeah. For Andrea, my one critique would be that sound, just somehow getting it out of the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's great. It's great for what it does. It just kind of unfortunately covers up a few things.
And it just needs some more... I mean, really just some more layering and some more prominent new elements coming into the mix throughout the sound, because it just feels like it kind of stagnates with that one looping sound, but otherwise really cool.
Yeah, that shimmer or glass or whatever you want to kind of coin that term as, it would be great for something that's a slow motion effect.
Definitely.
So, but great job overall. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, we have Dennis the Menace, who has never ever heard that in his entire life. I am the first.
Nice.
Ooh, that's cool. I want to hear that again.
I think this is probably my, like, I think this, it's really interesting. I feel like I love that he started with the, I like that they started with the like high-pitched, like sort of like technological sounds at the beginning. Really, really nice and really subtle. I think that I just think I missed it throughout the rest of the sound. Like, I would have loved to hear it build up with some more of that high frequency kind of texture, like build up into when the teleport goes away and all that. Yeah. And then hear it again at the very end. And because I think that's mostly what the sound is missing, is like that higher frequency to kind of like bring it all together at very specific parts. So this is on some of the other sounds that we've heard. On some of the other sounds we've heard, like, it used too much high frequency. But if Dennis's sound here had just used a little bit more of that, like, that sparkly high frequency texture that he used at the start, and he just used that for as it builds up, and with like maybe a little bit of pitch shifting automation going upwards, and then maybe one more at the end where it goes downwards in pitch with the high pitched, and I think that would really bring the mix together. Yeah. Because for the rest of it after that point, it just sounds a little bit muffled. Mm-hmm. And that would bring it all together a little bit more.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cool.
I mean, I would just be repeating what you said.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's listen to it one more time just to give some more screen time. Yeah, really cool textures overall. Just that's probably my biggest critique and biggest like directional change, is just to add more frequency spectrum. Yeah.
Really. Asael, thank you for joining our competition and putting it in there, and we appreciate you being a part of this, and we appreciate you being a part of our community. I think you had a great sound. I loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining and being a part of Blipsounds.
Dietrich.
Hey!
It's our friendly gnome.
Yep. Nice.
I like it.
All of the mix is really good. The mix is really good. He hits all of the right like storytelling points. Mm-hmm. The only thing that is missing, I think, is like just a little bit more of a transient when the portal closes. Yeah.
I was just gonna say transients in general, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's really
too.
strong.
I can agree with you there.
Yeah.
Just like some sort of like kind of sound or something like that.
Does anyone here do sound? Waldy, I would say definitely go to our Discord page. I think some people have talked about using FL Studio.
Yeah, there's somebody in the competition said that they made their sound in FL Studio.
Yeah, so I think
hop in the Discord and just post the question. Someone will probably respond.
Yeah,
catch their eye with the FL.
Yeah, I know FL has come a long way.
Yeah, it has.
I mean, even the app itself. I have the app on my iPad, and even the app, like before, it used to be just beat creation. Now it has plugins.
Nice.
So
nice.
FL Studio has come along. Did I say FL Sound?
No, you said Studio. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think FL Studio has come a long way.
Definitely.
I know there's some people in there. I think they might be able to.
Yeah.
Speak into that.
Definitely.
So, hey, Brittany.
You're the lizard. Definitely not me.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
I wish we had like a Velcro wall behind us, so we'd be like,
it's just that'd be great.
Welcome to Blipsounds.
Exactly.
I use Ableton. I think a lot of people use either Reaper or Ableton. It's probably the two biggest ones used in our community.
Or Pro Tools.
Yeah. Okay. So
people that come from film.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Pro Tools is more of like, with the exception of a few people, I think it's they use it just because.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I would say Reaper, Pro Tools, and Ableton are probably the three biggest ones that get talked about the most in our forum. Let's hear Dietrich's again.
Yeah, and the last...
Yeah, I would have liked some sort of transient or transient explosion.
Yeah. I think, like there's a lot of like very pitchy elements of the sound in this, but I think hearing a little bit more white noise in this would be great. Oh yeah, there's a seal and a lizard getting along. What's going on here? But yeah, Dietrich, I would just say like you have a lot of like awesome, like very specific like pitchy elements in the sound. Honestly, just like a little bit of white noise here and there. Like it doesn't have to be constant throughout the whole sound. I think that it really just needs like when the light is shining down, just like a little kind of sound or something like that would really help the sound texture a lot of the sound. So
for those of you who want to know why seal is funny, you would need to listen to our podcast.
Yes.
Or Blipcast. There's an episode in where I joined, but my audio is not included.
Yeah.
And Chris and Ryan had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Just go check out the Blipcast. On
I forget what episode it is.
Burners. Yeah, me too, but
and Chris wants me to be part of the Blipcast more.
Is this the last one we have?
No, we have Peter Hawkeye.
I thought that we did Max's already. We did Jello's, so maybe these are the last two.
These are the last two.
Okay.
On the home, let's just make sure there's nothing above Jello that we didn't get to.
No, we did Jello already.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so last two. Here we go.
Peter Hockey. Cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I want to hear that again.
I think the yeah, go ahead and play it. Yeah, a lot of like I would say that this sound has a lot of really awesome movement in the pitch for like very specific parts. I kind of just feel like it was done on the wrong frequency spectrum.
It's very, very mid-rangey.
Like, very again, mid to high. Yeah. Well, I was going to say very like high, actually.
Well, I was going to say it's muffled, and then you have some of those high frequency.
They feel like they come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
It's either muffled or bandpassed.
Yeah, something like that. And so, I think that if we had heard, I think that if it was just like pitch shifted or low passed a little bit, I think that would really help a lot.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say for the bulk of the sounds, probably that would be an example of where you would want to do a scoop.
Okay. Yeah,
like I would say doing a smile EQ.
Yes.
Definitely. Where you're boosting the low end and boosting the high end and scooping some of those mids.
Yeah. Diamond says, "Hey guys, for some reason my submission isn't showing. Do you have if you have the Twitter link to the submission, Diamond? Send it to the Blipsounds Twitter via a DM, and we'll check it out.
Well, not on here. They'd have to, because we're not on Blipsounds.
Oh, or send it to. Could they send it to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just send it to Brian.
Yeah, my DMs are open. Anybody can slide right in.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not showing either. It must have been like some sort of like misspell or something like that.
Or because
some people submitted with Blipsounds competition instead of Blipsounds comp.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, feel free to submit. We'll take a look if you send it in the next like 5-10 minutes.
Well, they may not get it in time, but I was also gonna say, like, what is their name on Twitter?
Yeah, Diamond, if you want to, or if you just want to tell us your name on Twitter, we can just search that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll
say something, I'm giving up on you.
Cool. But good job, Peter.
Yeah, I would. Our biggest critique would just be the frequency spectrum.
Yeah, the mix and just kind of like honing in and like adding a little bit more of a clamp on the frequency dynamics to like bring those in a little bit more. They're just a little bit unwieldy.
Yeah, and what else was I gonna say? Oh, everything feels good. Like it feels tight. Everything, good attention to detail. I would say it's just kind of the frequency.
Agreed.
Now
we have our last
one.
Maybe our second to last.
Max Pavlov. Ooh,
that was cool. That was really
hear
cool.
that again.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I would maybe add like a little bit more like white noise in certain spots here and there, and then obviously, and then the ending could just use a little bit more. The ending could be
stronger. Yeah.
Because it does have it does have like the sound for tapering out.
Right.
But I want to see a sound or hear a sound for like the reopening of the portal.
Exactly. The problem is it sounds like the sound has petered out.
Yeah.
Before the video has.
Definitely.
And that's part of the problem. Like, again, it's very much a choice to do that, to not emphasize that last warp as much. But upon hearing it, and it's weird when you're making the sound because you're living with it the entire time.
Definitely.
So you get what you're trying to do because you've been living with it. But when someone else is hearing it, it just feels like it's dying out before the video has.
Yeah, absolutely. And just we say it over and over, the syncing the animation to the sounds on very specific areas goes a long way.
But great job. I love some of what you're doing. I love some of those deep, bassy impacts.
Agreed.
Again, I just feel like the mid-range is a little too heavy.
Yeah.
That kind of 1K area is a little too heavy. And it starts to make, especially when you don't have as much high-end, I equivocate it to having a towel over your head trying to listen to things.
Sure.
It just starts to because all that 1K gets through, but everything higher than that doesn't.
Yes.
Towels are great at stopping high end stuff.
True.
So
yeah.
That's it.
Let's do a quick search for. Just type in competition instead of comp. Let's see if Diamonds shows up. Up.
Oh, we have a few people.
Oh no!
There's settings.
No. Actually, this is all it because this is the latest. So this is in January.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we have Sabbath de la Gita.
If this is you, Dime, I mean, we'll do a quick review of it.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna back that up.
Very cool.
Oh wow, I love that glitchiness.
Yeah, that's really cool sound textures going on.
Yeah.
Definitely just needs more layers and more variety in sound texture to layer in there.
I was gonna say, as far as frequency goes, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I love that glitchiness. It adds to that frenetic feeling. It adds to that like intensity.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to listen to that again. That's cool. I think that reverb tail is a little too long at the end.
Yeah, and it just needs like a little bit more just like high frequency elements occasionally. It shouldn't be all the time. But it should just like kind of dip in and out. Just a little bit more high frequency elements here and there.
And some of that's going to be because this video is quieter.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even a 1 dB boost can make the low end and high end feel more intense.
Absolutely.
Now we have Frederick Max, who we missed out on.
That's actually Hiro Kazaps. So that these are all old at this point.
Oh, that's here. Okay.
Yeah. These are all old ones. Yeah. So,
What if we just do hashtag Blipsounds?
Yeah, let's check it out. See if there's any we missed.
We have Ryan Bundy. We got his.
We already got that. Yeah. Ahmed, we got.
Man, there's Carlos. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So
Diamond. Unfortunately, if we don't hear anything in the next 2 minutes while we're closing out here, we're not gonna be able to get to your sound. But let us know if we can help in any way in the Discord server, or message Blipsounds on Twitter, and we can see what we can do to help.
Yeah, if you want to share your link to your video, because that'll be date stamped.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah.
So just share your Twitter link on Discord. This way you'll at least be eligible for all 3 prizes.
Definitely. So yeah, definitely let us know though.
So later today, I will jump onto Discord and I will ask for you all to vote on all these videos. Perfect. So that we can get a community vote. Yeah. And then Ryan and I will be in touch about who we think should win the judges vote.
Yeah.
And then I'll get a list of all the names, assign them a number, and I'll do a random roll.
Okay.
Sent a DM to Blipsounds on Twitter.
Yep, I got the DM. Let's check it out. Requests. Tweet. Accept. So look up Blipsounds comp. Yeah, it should be showing up.
Huh. When did they send it?
That was...
What's the date stamp?
1/8/20. Weird. I think we should check it out personally. Yeah.
What's their Twitter handle?
Childhoods 13. There it is.
Huh.
I don't know why this didn't show up.
Actually, it's not showing up at all. Did they make it private? Oh, there it is.
It's there.
Let's check it out.
Okay, so I would say ultimately, like, definitely just muffled. It's a little bit too muffled. The sound and like the timing of some of the stuff was really solid. Definitely just like if you add more higher pitched or higher frequency elements in the sound for the important parts of the sound, like when the portal is closing or when at the very start of the sound when it starts to play.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff can really help out quite a bit.
I agree with that. There's a lot of low end, not a lot of high end.
Yeah, and just finding places to sync the sound a little bit better.
And
focusing on dynamics overall, like the perceived loudness from the start of the sound, and as it builds up, make it a little louder and louder. And then making the final opening of the portal just more satisfying, I guess, with that high end to layer in. Focusing on those transients, and a limiter will be your friend here as well.
Yes.
Because overall, because it is so low frequency focused, it's also very the perceived loudness isn't very loud. So
I was gonna say that might be something to talk about either on the Discord channel or on the website about some standards.
Yeah.
Like sending it at, send it at 0 dBFS or -1 dBFS with an LUFs of -8 or something like that, so that they're all at roughly the same loudness.
Definitely.
I think that's going to change because of the Fletcher-Munson curve or Munson-Fletcher curve.
Yes.
So if you don't know what it is, Google it. The Fletcher-Munson curve.
Absolutely.
Has to do with perceived loudness.
Definitely.
So that's if you really want to get into audio nerdy stuff.
Definitely.
Beyond that, great job, everybody. Like I said, I'm going to get onto the Discord channel later. If you're not part of the Discord, if you go to blipsounds.com, there's a link. If you're watching this on YouTube, down in the doobly-doo, there is a link. The doobly-doo. There is a link to join our Discord channel. It's free. If you're not already there, highly recommend that you be a part of it. Thank you all for joining us. I think we capped at like 17 at our highest watch rate.
No, it was at 20.
Oh, was that 20?
Was that 20 at one
Briefly,
point?
yeah.
Briefly,
and
yeah.
they saw we were idiots. And
They were just like,
"We're out."
no. I don't know about these guys.
Thank you to everybody that joined. Thank you to those who commented in our chat. It was great chatting with you and great getting to hear some of you kind of echo in and just talk about your, why you made those choices and things like that. We enjoy that.
And for more feedback, there's usually somebody in the Discord server that wants to give feedback. So
I need to get back in there more and do that.
Me too.
So with that, I think we're going to sign off.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. My name is Brian.
And I am Ryan. Not really. He's
Not really.
Ryan.
I'm Ryan. He's Brian.
I'm Brian.
That's a funny joke, though. We're going to go.
Yes, we're going to go. We're going to go. See you guys later. He's Ryan. I'm Brian. You've all been amazing. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great February. Next Friday, our video comes out for the next competition.
Definitely.
We can't wait for you all to be a part of it. Peace.